Hello, everyone, and welcome to the 6 Degrees of Feature Film podcast. I am Brienne, also known as Miss Movies.
Hi, I'm Stacey Howard.
Hey, we have a special guest today.
We
so
do.
Exciting.
Yay!
The one and only, the epic voice himself, Mr. Jon Bailey.
Hi guys, how are you? Hi guys, how are you?
I love it. So I want to know more about voiceovers, because that's something that I would love to do and
How
have
long is
no
your
skill.
podcast? Well, I don't want to go into huge details because that'll end up being the whole show. But
Sure.
Yeah, it's one of the most fun jobs I've ever done, and I wish everybody could do what they love to do and actually get paid for it. But been doing this for 7 years professionally, and 5 of those full time. I used to drive a forklift, and then that job went bankrupt. So this was kind of a no other choice job.
What was your first job?
First job was
first voiceover job.
Oh, first voiceover job. I did the voice for Texas Steakhouse, which is a chain on the East Coast.
Oh, I'm familiar with it.
Yeah.
Taxes Gal.
Oh.
Amazing restaurant.
Yeah, I was
incredible.
that ain't real Texas.
Oh my gosh, it's bringing me back to childhood now.
Yeah, I did a whole campaign of those, and I was like, man, you can make this money. That wasn't even like union money. That was like non-union money, and I was like, wow, that's a lot of money. Didn't know you could get paid this much.
Right. Sometimes there's jobs that I'm like, what? You're gonna pay me for this? Actually,
I've been in sessions where I'm having so much fun. When we worked on Krampus, and it was like several other actors. I didn't never get to work with the other actors in the room. Like usually it's all online or whatever. And like watching these guys work, like for some of these guys I'm big fans of anyway. Like Adam MacArthur from Star vs. Forces of Evil, and Alex Polinsky from Teen Titans. A lot of these guys are working with me. And I'm just sitting there looking around like, I can't believe we're getting paid to do this right now.
That is so
In the
cool.
back lot of Universal, watching the movie
Right.
before it comes out. It was so much fun.
That's so awesome. And Krampus rocked, by the
I
way.
thought Krampus was
Loved
great, and it
Krampus.
wasn't because I worked on it. I thought it was a really great film. I wish it had gone a little bit darker than that, maybe a little gore, but it was goreless, but it was still a fun movie.
Can I ask you, do you have like one specific favorite voiceover talent before you got started that you actually maybe met and you're like, hey?
Oh, a talent that I met
Yes.
beforehand. No, I never met any person who did voiceover before I became a voice actor. I just, that was before I knew anything about conventions and that you could meet these people and find them online. I think we had talked to, not that he's a voice talent, but the closest thing we had ever come to, my brother Craig had gotten a hold of Paul Dini's email, and they kind of became like pen pals back when email was, back when I very first invented the internet. So that was like the only famous person for anything was the guy that made Batman, the cartoon. I was like, that's still pretty cool.
Jeff Bennett is like one of my favorite voiceover actors, and I'm like, one day I will meet Jeff Bennett. Like, that will
I haven't got to meet
happen.
him in person either. That makes two of us.
The only kind of vague familiarity I have with the voiceover world is I watched that documentary, I Know That Voice, which was great. And I was like, this is fascinating. Like everything. It's really, really cool. Is it on Netflix still?
I believe it was. I haven't checked lately, but that one, and there's a show on Pop TV called Impress Me that was kind of like a glimpse into my everyday life, but from a comedic standpoint. But know a lot of the guys in the show. It was very funny. It's about the guys who do impressions for a living, and they're trying to get out of it and become serious actors because But I've had some. In fact, I tweeted Ross Marquand from Walking Dead as one of the two main actors in that show. And if you haven't heard, he does some amazing impressions. Like some of them are way better than what I could do. And there was an episode of Impress Me where he becomes Justin Timberlake's official voice match guy to do all the stuff that Justin's too busy to do. And it wasn't 2 weeks ago. They sent me Justin Timberlake to do. I was like, wow, I'm living an episode of Impress Me right now.
That's so funny.
I'm Ross, and I'm.
That's great.
Well, we should probably get into our feature film, which John selected for us, which is...
You're welcome. Shawshank Redemption.
All right. Came out
excited.
October 14th, 1999. The best year in cinema ever.
Yes.
That was a really good movie, too. So much. That's Andy Signore's favorite movie, too.
Did not know. This is like an episode of Last Man on Earth. That's my favorite movie, too. Have you seen Last Man on Earth?
I have not, but I'm going to laugh
Hilarious.
along with the joke.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Hilarious. Yes. Anyways, so if you have not seen Shawshank Redemption,
Spoilers.
we are
They all
spoilers.
die at the end.
It's about two imprisoned men who bond over a number of years, finding solace and eventual redemption.
And they don't bond in the way that they do in Oz.
No.
Totally
There's
different
not a lot
kind
of
of
forced fellatio.
There is some.
No, there is some. Oh,
But-
shit, I forgot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It says through acts of common decency for the rest of the for the rest of the description, just so everyone knows. Directed by Frank Darabont and written by Stephen King and Frank Darabont. I guess it was just a short story when it first started.
Yes, it was part of Green Mile and two others that were all in one book, and they just separate them out into movies. But it was, it's great standalone. I'm surprised it was just a short. But in the book, there's stories for each one of the people in Shawshank Redemption as well as Green Mile. They each have like their own little background story, so you can find out like what these guys did on Green Mile, like what they did to get them on death row. So there's a lot more to it than just what you see.
I'm gonna have to read this.
Right?
Now.
You have to read the books now that you've seen the movie.
That's so great. And Frank how do you pronounce the last name?
Darabont.
He created the Walking Dead TV series, right? Like he didn't write the graphic
so
novels.
he's to blame.
Yeah.
Okay.
Hey, I like that
I'm just
show.
kidding. I don't watch it. But
He
my
was only on
husband does.
seasons 1 and 2. He didn't go after that. They kicked him off. Which is why it's not as good.
Season 2 was not that great, so
No.
that's probably why he got kicked off.
It's A&E's fault.
I don't know. I don't know anything about it. I just know my husband watches it.
This is
the
a
end.
Well, I think me and your husband would be good friends. 'Cause I have nobody to watch it with either because my wife doesn't get into it.
And then he laughs at the honest trailers that have been done.
Yay.
About it. He's like, this is totally true. Everything.
The thing is, I think I'm in the minority because I think that half the other Honest Trailers crew, I think they watch it, but I don't think that they're fans of it like I am. So they're always looking to nitpick, and I'm like, dude, it's a great friggin' show. I don't know what I mean, there's some filler episodes, and season 2 was really boring, but other than that, it's been a great show. I'm terrified of this season. I'm not going to get into it, but this season is following very closely along the books, and I've read the books, so I'm about to kiss one of my favorites goodbye.
Oh no, is it gonna Game of Thrones it? Like take out half the cast?
Well, except for he's probably not going to come back in the posters the next season,
Okay.
like Jon Snow has been.
Oh man.
Hey now, people. I'm just now catching up on Game of
Okay.
Thrones.
I'm just talking about the posters. That's all I said. Posters
doesn't
show
matter.
Jon Snow, so
No spoilers.
When
I don't know any more than you do. I haven't
You know
read
what's
the books.
hilarious though? Sidebar. When I was first getting into Game of Thrones, this was like almost a year ago. The first time. I was maybe like season 1, about the 5th or 6th episode in, and I watched Screen Junkie show The Spoiler Bill of Rights, and Devin Faraci spoiled what happens at the end of season 1 for me, and I was like, and then I just stopped watching. I was like, I'm done.
does not take responsibility for anything that might have gotten spoiled.
And so then I was like, no. So anytime and now I've recently come back and I was like, I'm going to do this. I'm going to watch this all.
Yeah,
and
spoiled again, didn't you?
I'm going to do it and get to where everyone is. So we're all on the same page and no one can spoil it for me from now on. So anyways, I'm on season 2 right now, but
Spoilers.
I will be ready.
Well, you were using my HBO Go account, but then they kicked you off, which
did.
I had nothing to do with that.
They should market the HBOGO instead of HBO Go.
Yeah.
Just buy one, get one. You get HBO Go
exactly.
and another channel.
Yeah.
HBOGO. I'd like to
But now I'm doing it the right way and I have HBO now. So
Okay.
there you go, guys.
There you go. That's all you need.
I did the whole math, like to figure out how much it would cost me to buy all the seasons or episodes.
Yeah, 'cause we're on 5 now.
I did
right?
all the math,
Yeah.
and I was like, it's going to be cheaper to just get HBO now and
Sure.
cancel whenever I want. There you go.
Yeah, because then you'd have to wait because season 6 is coming out April 26th, I think.
Yeah, hurry up.
So you're gonna have to like.
This show
buy
is
all
already
the
do
good.
some
anyway.
binging.
The
We
whole
should watch it right
season.
now before you just miss the whole thing.
That's right.
Yeah, you need to get on this, okay?
Okay.
That you have a lot of responsibilities.
I do.
Okay.
Back to
Great
Shawshank.
responsibility comes great binge watching.
Yeah.
So here we are, back at Shawshank, back at our Walking Dead and Game of Thrones podcast, starring Tim Robbins, Morgan Freeman, and some other people.
Now you sound like an honest
Bob
trailer.
Gunton, William Sadler, Clancy Brown.
Yep,
I forgot all the
Clancy Brown.
others. I recognize them.
I
all.
always wanted to take Clancy Brown's audio from Shawshank and dub it over the old animated Superman show because he's the voice of Lex Luthor. Just to hear
Oh.
Lex like cussing like a sailor.
That would be perfect. Forced fellatio and all.
It was
This movie's so dark. Oh my gosh.
nominated for 7 Oscars, but lost out to Best Picture to Forrest Gump.
Oh, really?
Well, I mean, at least it was
surprised,
at least it was
actually.
a good movie. Which I still think Shawshank's way better than Forrest Gump is.
Agreed. And it's higher rated. So if you're number one on IMDb for as
Shawshank
long as it has been.
Is number one on IMDb. IMDb has like the 250 top rated movies or whatever. Shawshank has been number one for like 10 years. It never
I think
falters.
that happens a lot. I think like if you go back and look who won that year, you often find like the one that's ends up being a better film long term ends up not being the winner. And I'm like, you could tell they got screwed right there.
Yeah. It was kind of a flop at the box office though, because it was $25 million for the budget. It only made $28 million, but it was one of the highest.
58.
58?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought it only made 28. Oh, well, my research was
still considered a bomb, though.
Still considered kind of a flop, but it's one of the highest selling VHS rentals of all time.
Long term, it's probably made all that money back because it's such a great film.
Absolutely. And it's every
People
time
are still buying that film.
Yeah, every time it's on TNT at 2:30, I'm like, oh shit, it's Shawshank Redemption.
Yep.
It's the Force Fellatio scene.
Oh,
Let's watch it for the rest of the
Because somebody bought it. Somebody bought it, like, for cheap, and was like, oh, it's so cheap to play this. We're just going to show it every weekend. Guess what? Shawshank month of March.
And it's one of those movies where no matter how many times you've seen it, it's like what you said. If it comes on again, you're going to have to watch it because you know it's good.
It's the scene with the crow when he talks to him in the library. We got to watch it.
I need to see it again because I've only seen it twice. Maybe twice.
I've seen it so many freaking times.
Dozens and dozens of times.
That's the reason why it's one of my favorite movies of all time. So because it's so rewatchable.
I always watch it with my dad. I feel like older people, like the next generation, like if they're in their 50s and 60s, also love this film. And then we love it too, and so I feel like
I don't even know if my parents know this film.
What?
Because, like I said before, my parents just are movie snobs. They only like certain things. They only like 90-minute film. Like snobs in the way of like, this can only be this long and can't be too
See, my family, they're all super conservative, so like anything over earnest level is not going to be cool. So they didn't see some real movies until they were censored for television, and then they tried actually getting cable because they felt like they were missing a lot of stuff. Then they realized it was uncensored, and they were like, "No, we're canceling cable."
Did they get movies out of that shop in Utah where they used to cut them? To be like cut out like certain.
Oh, I know what you're talking about. No, I don't think I ever went that far. My brother did back in the day. He used to cut the VHS and tape it back together if there was scenes that otherwise it would have been a perfectly clean movie if they just cut that one part out. But yeah, so.
Amazing what people will do.
We got my brother and I lucked up because my Aunt Lois would record. Back when they made the VHSs where you record like up to 8 hours, we all thought that was a huge deal. Yeah. And so she would record like tons of cable and not tell us what was on. She would label it, Jungle Book, but there would be like 6 films on it. So he and I were watching like movies that came on way afterwards, like Aliens would somehow sneak on there because she just left it recording. We're like, ooh, we're never going to see this movie.
Nice. I used to. Well, I don't know. I'm not familiar with that because my parents let me watch whatever I wanted when I was little. So I saw
how well that turned out.
Yeah, exactly. I saw Silence of the Lambs when I was like 9 years old, like way too young. But I'm fine now.
I'm fine.
I've only murdered like 3 people, but I'm fine, totally fine. Oh, I lost my notes.
Do you think my parents are conservative? The funny story about Silence of the Lambs. My grandmother, she would think Gilmore Girls, the grandma.
Oh yeah.
She's very like that, and so she only wanted to get a DVD player because it was trendy and because all of their rich neighbors had one. Didn't know how to operate the thing. They took all their movie suggestions from Reader's Digest because they had the little fold out with all the movies in it. Their top rated movies. Guess which one was on there? Silence of the Lambs.
Yes.
And so I was like, how did you enjoy Silence of the Lambs, grandmother? She's like, there was just sex and a naked man and sex.
Oh my gosh. I can only imagine. She's like, oh my God. He tucked his dick between his legs.
Right. And they also bought Jurassic Park where they fell asleep. That's weird. They also got Jurassic Park, which they'd never seen before. And as great as a movie it was and some of the action and drama, they both fell asleep, completely passed out. Right as the lawyer's getting eaten in the bathroom, they're just...
Oh gosh, that's the best scene.
So I was like, entertainment is wasted on you guys. You have no idea what you have. So they end up giving away all the DVDs that they bought, never using the DVD player.
Are there any left that I can have?
Unfortunately, no.
Oh man.
Wait, do you even have a DVD?
Traded all of them.
I don't have a DVD player. I stream everything on my computer.
I do too. I finally joined the stream-only bandwagon. But if we ever get AMP'd by North Korea, we're all screwed. So
that's true. That's true.
My library gone.
So
more Voodoo account. I know you guys don't use Voodoo.
Oh, I don't know that.
I do not.
We have Walmart. You don't. So. So.
We're
Walmart's
gonna
a
move
revelation.
into our links. Our next two films, we're gonna link with wrongful imprisonment. So there it is.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you want to go?
Let's start with The Fugitive.
Okay.
Which came out August 6, 1993. Dr. Richard Kimball, unjustly accused of murdering his wife, must find the real killer while being the target of a nationwide manhunt. Directed by Andrew Davis, who also did Holes, I'll have you know, The Guardian, and
Shia
A Perfect
LaBeouf's only
Murder.
good movie. Awesome.
And 2 Steven Seagal movies, Under Siege and Above the
Yes,
Law.
I did see that.
I
didn't
saw
write
that.
that down in my notes,
just
but
a
I
cook.
did see it.
Mhm.
Starring Harrison Ford, Tommy Lee Jones, Celia Ward. I was kind of surprised to see her. Julianne Moore, who had like
Yep.
Mhm.
bigger part,
She was
like
like a
that was
doctor.
cut.
Yeah, they were supposed to be like a love interest, and then they shot scenes with that, and then they were like, no, that's
Didn't
weird
work
that
out
she's.
well, no.
Yeah, he's like trying to find his dead
But
wife's.
he's banging the nurse.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that doesn't
Doctor
make
or
sense.
whatever.
I'm glad they cut that.
Yeah, I
it
am
wouldn't
too.
make sense.
Mhm.
The budget was $44 million, made $368.9 million at the box office. Won Tommy Lee Jones an Oscar for Best Supporting Actor, and was also nominated for Best Picture. Lost to Schindler's List.
Well,
Best
that was a good one.
cinematography. Yeah,
I'm
best
just
sound,
saying.
editing, effects, and
And it was a good
original
friggin' movie.
Yeah.
It was a straight up good movie. I've seen that movie so many times. And based on a true story and on a TV show. Both of those things.
This movie, okay, there's a series of movies where Harrison Ford is just staring into the camera intensely on the poster. And it's this movie,
Right.
Patriot Games, Air Force One, and it's
Clear
like
and
all
Present
dads
Danger.
are going to love a movie on the poster with Harrison Ford just staring.
And if we hadn't gotten that movie, we would not have that great spoof version where I think was it Spy Hard where he escapes Leslie Nielsen
I
and the
don't
train
remember
dude,
this.
he's jumping off the train because the train's
Oh,
getting away,
yeah.
and then he peeks
Uh-huh.
behind and the train goes like the tree, and I'm like, this is like the best parody of Fugitive ever.
So funny. And then, of course, my favorite scene is him and Tommy Lee Jones in the tunnel thing.
Right.
And
I think that's
their little
everyone's
showdown.
favorite scene.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's true. That's a pretty famous scene.
And he made that line, or Tommy Lee Jones like came up with that line.
Yeah,
'Cause
he's supposed to
He was
be
supposed to say
like,
something else,
I think.
but then he changed it to, or
Oh,
he was
it's supposed to be
say,
like-
that isn't my problem.
Yeah,
And he was like, how about I just say I don't care?
yeah.
I feel like that's
I don't
Tommy Lee Jones.
care.
I don't care.
Yeah.
I feel like that's totally him inserting himself into that role right at that
Yep,
moment.
that's true.
That's
That's
him
what he
talking
would
about
say.
life. And
That's
I-
him forgetting
I
his
don't
line
care.
and just
I don't care.
being awesome anyway.
They apparently they still have the wrecked train and bus as a tourist attraction in North Carolina.
It's just an excuse not to throw it away.
I guess.
Yeah.
They probably wrote a sign that says "Original dust, please do not touch," so that way they never have to clean it.
That's right. That's right. It's saving the city money, okay? We're penny pinchers, all right?
And also, the St. Patrick's Day parade wasn't scripted. And they were just like, let's just do this. We can
Sure,
only
why
do it
not?
today, and we can only do it at this time.
It's because
The
the
parade's
director's
gonna
from
be
That
Boston.
was actually one of
so
my
he was
favorite
like,
scenes. It just
mhm.
shows how smart the guy was getting away.
I just like
Grabbing a hat,
parades.
dropping his jacket.
Which makes me think, was it St. Patrick's Day and Ferris Bueller's Day Off then?
Maybe they take place in the same universe.
What? Oh my god! I want to see it right now. I also have that Alec Baldwin was the first choice to play Richard Kimball,
So
but he
glad
dropped out. And then Andy Garcia was also considered for the role. Actually, I could see them doing that,
Yeah.
but
I
I
could
think
kinda
Harrison
see Andy
Ford was
Garcia.
pretty.
After seeing one, wasn't Jack Reacher was the other one, the one with Clear and Present Danger guy. So we had all those different movies where we had that different actor playing that one Jack.
Oh
was his
yeah,
name Jack?
Chris Pine
Yeah.
played it.
Chris
Mhm.
Pine's played it. Yeah, I saw Alec
Oh,
Baldwin
yeah.
playing that role, and it was
Mhm.
terrible. So I don't think I want to see him as Fugitive.
Was it Jack Ryan Shadow
Yes, Jack
Recruit
Ryan.
or whatever?
It was,
Ooh, that was
Jack
terrible.
Ryan is the character
Terrible.
that
Right.
keeps getting recast. But I saw
Mhm.
Alec Baldwin as Jack Ryan in the Morgan Freeman one. and it
Mhm.
was-
Hunt
he
for
was-
Red October.
Yes, and he wasn't very good in that
Ah.
role.
Oh, okay.
And I'm like,
I
man,
never saw it.
if that's a sneak peek of what he would have been like as Fugitive, I don't think, because I saw Harrison
Mm.
Ford as Jack Ryan way better.
Mhm.
Yes. Well, I love Patriot Games. We've discussed this.
Still
Yeah.
a good
Finally
movie.
see the Patriot.
I haven't
Game.
seen
Oh,
Patriot
no.
Games,
Oh.
but I do love Air Force One.
No, it's not the same. You gotta see Patriot
Okay,
Games.
okay. Which, that's not the same character, right?
No, he does not play.
No. So
He's-
he's the president of Air Force One, but
Yes.
then Jack Ryan is a different character. The
Correct.
Patriot Games and Clear Present Danger, those are like part of the Jack Ryan universe.
Yes, they are.
Okay, cool. Those movies are a little older than me.
Just
like,
a little?
Just a little. Like, I mean, I was born in 90, so then movies that came out in 93, 94, I was just too young to watch them, and I haven't gotten around.
But you weren't too young to watch Silence of the Lambs.
I wasn't too young to watch Silence of the Lambs, okay? I could handle it.
Let's get into another movie that came out in 1999, and that is Double Jeopardy, September 24th.
I recently just watched that on cable, so it's still
as a choice.
No. I actually liked it when it first came out.
It's fun.
That was the first time I ever seen Ashley Judd acting before.
Oh, okay.
And I was like,
it's pretty good.
Considering that it feels kind of like a low budget, Lifetime movie or whatever. It's actually not bad for what it is.
I would say it's a big budget Lifetime movie.
Did it really cost a lot of money to make?
$70 million.
Does it feel like it would cost $70 million to make?
Hey, Lifetime movies usually star some famous person's less talented younger sister and are very, like low budget and cutesy.
Yeah.
So this is like a big budget Lifetime movie,
Okay.
I would say. I would argue that.
This is about a woman who is framed for her husband's murder and suspects that he's still alive. As she has already been tried for the crime, she can't be re-prosecuted. If she finds and kills him, technically she can. But we'll go with the story.
Legal loophole.
Which, for the longest time, I accepted this as, like, the
Truth.
law. I was like, this is totally how it works. Cool. Okay. Good to know for someday if I'm accused
This is
of
what
killing
happens
my
when you
husband.
watch Silence of the Lambs.
Yeah,
Years
exactly.
old.
Exactly. But that is not true. Like,
I know.
I mean, she could have gotten convicted for other things like, kidnapping and assault with a deadly weapon and all that stuff. Like, she could have still gone back to prison. It's not like they can't do anything to her.
Right.
But not for murder. Yeah. But, still. Or she could do
And that's another
manslaughter.
Tommy Lee Jones movie.
It's a completely different
crime.
crime.
And he is also chasing someone who has been wrongfully convicted.
I think he kind of got typecast
as
that for a little while.
Yeah.
He's like the guy that can find anybody in an outhouse, in house, barn house, or,
That's
so
why he doesn't care anymore, because he just plays the same fucking role all the time.
Hey, as long as he keeps making money at it, good for him.
That's true.
Now I'm thinking of No Country for Old Men. Like, oh, great. Now all his movies are just going to come to me.
They're all the same. He looks the same. He's looked 75 years old for 52 years.
Yep.
I remember in 99.
I have a feeling he was born that way. He came out.
He did. Came out wrinkled, a wrinkled little baby.
Came out bored.
Benjamin
Oh,
Button
you're so cute.
style.
He's like, I don't care.
I remember in 99 I was 18-ish when this came out, and I remember thinking, like, their sex scene was pretty, like, sexy to me. I was like, oh my gosh, probably shouldn't be watching this. I'm too young.
You mean on the yacht? Like in the beginning with her and her hubbos?
Which now, if I watched it back, I probably wouldn't be, like, it wouldn't be
Well,
shocking.
now that you know what happens in the movie, you kind of cringe at that scene, because you know that he's this psychopathic, like, criminal mastermind.
He needs to get with the Gone Girl woman. They should be together, right?
Yeah.
They would make a better couple than
They
poor
would.
Affleck, man.
They would. They'd be incredibly
Well, maybe just
captivating.
Ashley Judd and Ben Affleck from the movies. They should get together.
Yeah.
Maybe they're more suited.
Yeah.
I don't know.
They should just double date and swing, I guess. I don't know.
They could be total make Swingers the sequel, but
Swingers
it's about
2.
literal swingers.
Yeah.
Murdering swingers. They
getting
murder
pretty
each other's
Swinger
spouses.
murderers. I think we just created a new film.
We did.
Swinger Murderers, rated R.
Oh my god. That would be pretty great. I would love to see that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I always like to just go, yeah.
Justice
Yeah.
only swings one way.
Perfect. Oh my gosh, that was perfect. Okay, so do you want to go off of Fugitive first or off of Double Jeopardy?
I don't. John, would you like to go first and tell us what movies you brought, or do you want us to?
Yeah, I can if you want me to.
Yeah, totally.
I already kind of dropped one a little bit. Green Mile is also one where someone is falsely accused, based in the same realm as Shawshank Redemption. Actually occurs in the same time if you look at the book. But yeah, that was another really great movie. That was one of those where the longer you watch it, the more you enjoy it, and by the end of the movie, you're just tears in the eyes, like, oh man, I can't believe this guy's gonna, I don't want to spoil it, even though you should have seen that by now.
I haven't seen it.
It's
okay, you can spoil it. I probably won't be seeing
Green
it.
Mile is such a good movie, and the acting was
Michael
was
Clark
terrific.
Duncan. I miss that guy.
It was like taking the winner between Shawshank Redemption and Forrest Gump and putting their main actor from the winning movie into another movie that's basically like Shawshank Redemption.
Absolutely. Oh my gosh, that's totally perfect.
You're welcome. And the other one that I brought was North by Northwest.
Oh,
greatest
okay. North by
wrongly
Northwest.
accused movie people, characters getting in a movie of all time. So back in the good old Cary Grant days, that's the kind of movies we were allowed to watch.
What is he even wrongly accused for? I can't remember.
They confuse him with a spy, and he's just an average. I'm just an average businessman.
Yes.
I think he's an insurance salesman or something like that. It's been a while since I've seen it, but I was like, oh yeah, that's a great one where he's been confused with somebody else and they're chasing him throughout the entire movie. The famous scene with the plane. Good old Alfred Hitchcock.
I've actually never seen North by Northwest, but really I knew it was a Hitchcock film, and it starred. Who was the star of it? It's not Tippi Hedren. No. Who's the woman?
Oh,
in
I don't know.
Northwest? One of his blondes, but I forgot which one.
Always one of his.
I think Scarlett Johansson.
Yeah.
For 2 seconds, did you see her face for like 2 seconds? She was like, "Wait a minute,
no, I was
you're talking
not.
about that movie recently."
That one movie where Anthony Hopkins, star of Silence of the Lambs, plays Alfred Hitchcock, who I actually like that movie a lot.
One of the reasons why I like North by Northwest is because it's a little less like most of his movies. It's not this, crazy scary. It's more of an action-driven film, which is like they kept telling him to make the same kind of film. They keep making Psycho over and over again, and he's like, "No, I'm going to do whatever the fuck I want to do." So it was a nice change of pace because I was expecting a different kind of film when I first watched it, and it was. I was like, this is really good. So, yeah.
I've seen it at least twice. I think one of my favorite scenes is when they're on Mount Rushmore.
Yep.
It's like one of the climax scenes.
And that movie has been spoofed many, many times, so you know it's good. So when you make fun of something in Animaniacs, you know it's good.
Animaniacs is the best.
Are you sure you guys aren't talking about Richie Rich? Because there's a scene on Mount Rushmore. Okay.
I can link it.
I've never seen Richie Rich. And
oh, it's good. And they're on like the Mount Rushmore opens up and they have like a layer. And I totally forgot what happens in the movie, but I know that Mount Rushmore is in it. So there we go.
Nice. I like it.
Okay. All right. I'm going to watch North by Northwest now.
Yes, now you have to watch
And it's not South by Southwest.
You have to watch
it's not
Green
the
Mile.
concert thing.
So
I will watch Green Mile.
Watch it with your husband.
List.
It is
so you can cry and hold
heartbreaking.
his hands.
Is it like 3 hours?
It's pretty long if you watch it with commercials.
I'll do it in segments.
Someone's in Green Mile that has been in the news. He married Courtney, whatever, the child bride thing. He's the
nope. You're outside of my realm of
Doug
jurisdiction.
something, and he plays the guard in Green Mile, and he was really good. And then he had this downfall, and then he married Courtney Stodden, whatever her name is.
The white-haired guy.
No.
Tall, I forget his name.
No.
So I don't know any of the other
His
actors.
name is Doug something. I'll look it up later. I'll tell you. But he's in the news now because he married a child bride that's 16 years old. She looks like a porn star. It's super gross. I know. Blah.
But way to go.
Anyway,
she's
North
Debbie Downer. It's official. I can't have children.
Sorry, guys.
So off of Double Jeopardy, we went with movies that are either set in New Orleans or have a scene in New Orleans. Because in Double Jeopardy, they go to New Orleans, and that's kind of where shit goes down.
Yeah.
And so I chose The Princess and the Frog, everyone, because I like this movie. And it came out in 2009.
David was freaking amazing. He's one of my favorite voice actors.
Yeah. Okay, so The Princess and the Frog has some really good music. That's probably what I like most about it. I like that jazz style.
I'll be honest, this is not one that my wife took my oldest to see it. But after we watched it, because at the time it came out, my two youngest kids were very young. And after watching, we were like, man, this is a little too demonic and creepy for the little kids under 4 years old. So I was like, maybe they need to wait a little while before they see this one because he's conjuring up demons and stuff.
Yes, that is kind of creepy.
Yeah, it is.
But that's no law for you. Okay?
That's true. It may be a little more animated than the real thing, but it still was a little bit dark and because they got scared during Snow White and.
Snow White's scary.
And the witch is creepy. So, I was like, maybe wait till they're a couple more years older before they see this one. But, Keith David is freaking amazing. He was Goliath in the original Gargoyles cartoon.
Oh, okay.
And he was Spawn in the HBO animated series. He's great. Of course, he's famous for They Live and other on-camera stuff, but he's one of my favorite voice actors because he just has that great voice.
Oh, gosh.
I don't know why, but it sounds amazing. Especially when you add a New Orleans accent to it and you conjure up demons from hell.
Oh, it's I'm getting chills. Oh, my Lord.
Guy, right?
Yeah.
I got the vapors.
And then you got Jim Cummings at the big old light and nighty bug. Then like a big old booty.
Wasn't this movie kind of controversial? Didn't it have something they said something about the film, it was racist.
Yeah,
they had just a few characters.
Yeah, they were saying that they were forcing, the fact that they didn't have an African American character as a princess yet, and they were only doing this to appease people. So even though they were doing something good, in my opinion, they were getting, battered around for it a little bit.
Okay.
I Which, I mean, if you look at it from just a movie person's perspective, though, it's a great film. It's a good story. It's one we've heard before, but Disney hadn't done, so I had no problem with it. The only other version of The Princess and the Frog that I'd ever seen was Jim Henson's version, which, if you talk about weird, that one was like, back when he was still experimenting with stuff. There was some crazy stuff going on. It was almost as weird as Labyrinth.
I think they did it on Fairy Tale Theater, Shelley Duvall's Fairy Tale Theater, but I can't be positive about that. But I know that Beyonce Knowles, like, wanted to have the part of Tiana, but they wouldn't give it to her because she wouldn't audition.
But
How dare she?
What a diva! What, if you want a part, just freaking audition for it.
Exactly.
Like, come on now, come on, Beyonce.
she didn't do that because she knows she can't act.
That's
she
right.
Can sing,
that's right.
but she can't act. That's all that was.
Beyonce cannot act. There's that. What's that movie like? Not Temptation, but
If they liked her, they should have put a ring on her. Just saying.
yeah, totally. She really can act though. God bless her. I mean, you know, good on her.
Well, they even limited down
stuff,
her involvement in the Alvin and the Chipmunks movies too. So that tells you.
Wait, I didn't even
She's
know
in
she
the
was
Alvin
in
and the
that.
Chipmunks
I think she
movies?
was. I think she was up for one of the Chipettes.
What? I don't remember
Oh,
this.
for
But
voice.
the singing parts, not the
okay.
because they got all actors, all TV actors.
Why
movie
would they
actors.
need her for the singing? Because they just
Well,
put
that's
in
a
that
long
auto-tune.
tradition in animation because
Okay.
Jim Cummings has sang for several actors who can't. Lion King, that's not our favorite diehard villain singing or one of our favorite.
Right.
That's Jim Cummings doing it. Also, Doc Brown can't sing to save his life, so in Anastasia, that's also Jim Cummings singing. So it's been a long, and even in Aladdin, the main actors for Aladdin, they don't sing their own parts. So that's been around for a while, where they find a great casting choice for the actor, but they can't sing to save their lives, so they'll get somebody else to do it. So back in the old days, they had to be able to do both.
That's right.
Not so much anymore, though.
Had to be a Julie Andrews.
How dare they not
Right?
do it now?
Yeah, Beauty did her own. She did all her own stunts. She sang her role. She acted her role. It's old school right there. OG Disney.
Get you a woman that can do both. So I brought a film with a no loss scene, which it's one of my favorite scenes in the movie. It's a movie that not a lot of people saw. It's called Focus. It's with Will Smith and Margot Robbie.
I saw
and
it.
they play, con people.
Forgot the name of it, but yes.
Yes, and so they play con
Couldn't
people.
focus.
They have
It's very Ocean's 11.
Yeah, very Ocean's 11, but they have like a romantic, relationship in the film. And I thought it was really, really well done. Like, there were things that were forgettable in it, but there was also some really nifty, like, intelligent scenes. And one of them was in New Orleans in the middle of Mardi Gras. They've got a whole, like, recon team. And they're like, okay, you go over there. There's drunkards that way. There's old people over there. You switch the purse. And they show how these people steal these purses, wallets. They come up with these elaborate schemes.
Yep.
Right.
Which is maybe like keep a hand on my wallet anytime I go in public anywhere.
Yeah, exactly. I always like hold on to my little
Yep.
side strap purse.
I'm like stucking it down underneath my boob flap with my fanny pack.
Mine's
I
just
put
in
a
my bra.
padlock on
I
it.
think that's a woman
Mine too.
can do that. Yep.
You're big enough, you can put a bra on. That's fine.
But I thought it was really, really clever, and I really liked that scene. And
I thought too much of the logistics of it all, of how it would actually work. How would this actually look if this was real? And
I
then
think it
just
would
thought,
look like that. I think it was pretty realistic.
I'm kind of I lean more towards your.
I feel more of everyone's for
It felt
themselves.
more like a really good, just a really good date movie rather than just a really good overall film. It's like it's one that my wife and I kind of enjoy watching together, but it was not very deep. It was kind of like it felt like Ocean's 11.
Yeah,
It's
it
whipped
wasn't
the
cream
whole
over
time.
garbage.
And Ocean's
That's
11
what
did
it
such-
is.
Yeah, it wasn't.
They did so much better a job of this type of story in the previous movies that it was just like, yeah, it's okay, but it's not the greatest thing I've ever seen. But yeah, it's kind of I find really good movies from New Orleans. That's for sure. Even though they film a lot there, they don't film it as New Orleans.
Right. They'll
It's like the
stage it as
new
something else.
Hollywood.
Yeah.
It's like all over it.
Or
I'm
New
not sure. I'm not
Toronto
even
or
sure that
whatever.
they filmed the part with Gambit from the Wolverines movie in
did it?
actual
New
New
Orleans.
Orleans. I don't think that's real New Orleans.
No way. It's just like an alley.
It's
and
just
then,
one set somewhere
Yeah.
in LA, most likely.
And then just him like throwing fake cards or whatever. Ooh, that was bad, guys.
Yeah.
Oh,
That was
guys.
so bad.
I'm really
Yeah,
sad
it
that they
was
didn't get
bad.
Gambit.
I mean, you
right.
think if we can get one good action superhero movie from something that has to do with New Orleans, it's going to be a good Gambit, but nope, so far.
Nope.
Yeah.
No,
Not yet.
fingers
Gambit.
crossed for Channing Tatum. Of course,
I
after he
don't
throws
know.
his cards, he's going to start doing a Magic Mike dance. So probably
Yeah, he
pull
is.
his cut off.
You guys see-
I'd be okay with that Gambit film, guys. I'm on board.
A stripper-themed musical Magic Mike Gambit
Superhero.
film fiasco.
You know, we can just get it all together.
Yeah. Superheroes can basically do that, though. They can do anything, so they can dance,
They can
too.
super strip, yeah.
They can super strip,
Wow.
yeah.
I'm
Rip it
cutting
off.
As long as the
trailer
poles
right
are
now.
not made out of kryptonite, they should be okay.
They just rip off their clothes with their minds. They don't even need their hands.
Superman doesn't even need everything to ship show that guy unless you're wearing lead clothes. So
Yeah,
he's
exactly.
constantly dirty perv in his mind.
He constantly has
the
his own
worst.
little dancing thing going on.
So I was playing. One of the guys from Smosh Games and I were playing because I was trying to put out videos that were Batman versus Superman related this week.
Mm-hmm.
So we did a quick match of Injustice. And it just dawned on me that Clark shows up in his Clark outfit, literally rips his clothes and takes off his glasses. Like, you just exposed your identity to everybody who's watching this fight. Way to go, genius.
Idiot.
Not that bright. It's no wonder Batman beats him. It's
Idiot,
not
how dare
that
you.
smart.
But it's one of the movies that showed me that Margot Robbie could, like, as a Wolf of Wall Street, you know, her character, you don't really get to know her, really. But in this one, you get to see a little bit more of her acting range. You get to see more of her acting range, and then she has, like, a little more spice to her. So then I understood how she would have been chosen for Harley Quinn.
Actually,
that's coming up, so.
the stuff from Wolf of Wall Street made me think she'd be perfect for Harley Quinn.
Really?
Yeah, because it was more along the same lines of the character. It was more that manipulative, crazy the accent, all that stuff. Just like, oh yeah, I can see her playing Harley easily. But yeah, she was a very, very good actor in the movie you mentioned, though. In fact, she was one of the things I really loved about that movie.
Well, of course. I mean,
Not because of the boobs, but just because I hadn't seen her in anything else besides Wolf of Wall Street. And I was like, oh, okay, I recognize her from the other movie. And it was one of those things that I was actually surprised at how good she was. Rather than, you know, because everybody else I've kind of like, okay, I've seen Will Smith trying to do his dramatic thing. And
She's one of those women that's like, gosh, she's got it all.
Yeah.
She does.
That's
She
unfortunate
does.
for the rest of women.
Yes, very disappointing. I know she's jealous of me and my grace.
We can never be.
She's
what
moved
Margot
Terry Hatcher
Robbie
off my
is.
top spot of women that I would have to get divorced for if they ever showed up in my life.
You know, for the film, she was like in Croatia on vacation or something, and her agent called her, was like, you have an audition, you need to be there in like 12 hours, and so she rushed there, had 20 minutes to pack, had to take like 3 planes and buses and all this stuff, and arrived to the audition in Brooklyn on time. And Will Smith was like in Manhattan, and then had to come over to Brooklyn, and he was like 30 minutes late. And he was like, sorry, traffic, Brooklyn, the bridge, whatever. And she's like, well, I came from Croatia, and I was on time, so blah, blah, blah. And she was like, that got me the role, because I like got attitude. I was like, nope, sorry, buddy, I was
That's
here.
the character.
Yeah, that's the character. So, yeah, I
Good
love
for
it.
her.
I love her. I think she's great.
That just gives me more respect for how good she did in that movie then, if she didn't have as much time to prepare as everybody else did.
Yeah,
Man.
yeah. Exactly.
Yay, Margot Robbie.
Yay,
All right,
Margot Robbie.
Gentlemen.
Those are our movies.
Those
for
are our
today.
movies. We went from, I don't know,
Hold on.
Shawshank Redemption. Then we went to The Fugitive,
Yeah.
as well as Double Jeopardy. From The Fugitive, we went to North by Northwest, as well as
Green Mile.
Green Mile. And from Double Jeopardy, we went to The Princess and the Frog, as well as Focus. There it is.
Quite a plethora of movies.
We did it.
Quite a mix.
I always tweet out, our movie link tweet so that people can respond to us. And I said, what's your favorite movie with a wrongful conviction or something? Wrongful imprisonment? Something like that. And I got back a few. Jamie Habits, Mark Brandon 11, and Chris Skalicki say Shawshank Redemption. Matthew Johnston says The Green Mile and Holes. Chris Rumner-Schmidt says Shooter. JMB says
That would not have sprung to the forefront of my mind.
Midnight Express. And Brian Hurst says, it's not a good one, but I've seen Double Jeopardy a bunch of times.
Hey now. Hey now.
And Travis of Marvel says The Hurricane and The Fugitive.
Oh, Hurricane's a good one, too.
And we also link it to Kevin Bacon.
Yes, so Kevin Bacon was in Mystic River with Tim Robbins, who was in The Shawshank Redemption.
Yeah,
so
that was
that was a
good.
short little one. That was good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And normally
I
at the end of
forgot
our
all about the
podcast.
Hurricane. That's my boy Denzel Washington right there. He's okay. He's all right.
Normally we have Stacy do a Bad Rocky impression as one of our characters from one of our 3 main films. But we were hoping John would do a voice for us today. And you had a voice that you would like him to
no,
do.
he can just read the monologue if you
You have a
However you
preference
would.
on my
like.
voice?
You can
Whatever's
tell
your
us.
favorite voice, you
My
can do
favorite
it.
voice? Oh,
Yeah.
sure. Let's be fine.
The Fugitive, Deputy Marshal Samuel Gerard. All right, listen up, people. Our fugitive has been on the run for 90 minutes. Average foot speed over uneven ground. Bearing injuries is 4 miles per hour. Gives us a radius of 6 miles. What I want from each and every one of you is a hard target search of every gas station, residence, warehouse, farmhouse, in-house, outhouse, and doghouse in that area. Checkpoints go up to 15 miles. Your fugitive's name is Dr. Richard Kimball. Go get him.
Yay!
Nice.
Clap, clap, clap.
You.
That was Christopher
Because we're
Walken.
walking this up for the role
Yes.
of...
He would have been incredible.
I don't care. Come on, let's just go back to jail. It's gonna be fine.
Oh man, thanks for coming on our show,
My
John.
pleasure. Thanks for
Thank
having
you.
me.
Thank you for driving all the way out here. Sorry,
It
Seth
was just
a
an hour and
mess.
15 minutes. No big deal.
No big deal.
It was
As
just a giant
standard.
tunnel closed down and all that.
Where can we find you?
You can find me at Epic Voice Guy pretty much everywhere. So all the social medias at Epic Voice Guy. Make it nice and easy for everybody. And I just recently purchased the domain at epicvoiceguy.com, which I can't believe nobody had yet. So that's my new site's name. Although JonBaileyVO.com still works, but epicvoiceguy.com will link you up to all my
Nice.
con appearances, demos, and stuff that I've done, and all lots of cool things.
Sweet.
And there's some fan page stuff there too. So
Absolutely.
Cool.
so people can
Check it
stop.
out.
They can check out the work that I've been doing over the last 7 years and stop saying, "Oh, it's so cool that you're getting real work now," after they've only heard me on Honest Trailers.
Right.
So now they get
It's
it.
always fun. You're like, I do
It
more
is.
than that, right?
They'll hear me on some new spot, but now that they know what to listen
Yeah.
for, they recognize my voice. Like Assassin's Creed or something came on. They're like, "Oh, dude, it's so cool that you're getting real work now." I'm like, "I've been doing this for 7 years."
You're like,
Way
know this
before
place
Honest Trailers
it's called
came.
IMDb.
I've even told, and I said the same thing. It's like, yeah, is the big voice guy the same guy from XCOM? I'm like, there's this thing called IMDb and this thing called Google. You should try them out. They're like, it's like an engine that searches things, like a search engine.
Yes.
That's incredible. They should
I
invent
know.
that.
They should
Al
make
Gore
one
get
of
on that.
those. I think Al Gore made one.
Yeah.
Where can we find you, Stacey?
You can find me on Twitter at SOHoward2012 and watch me live tweet movies all the time. I live tweeted Groundhog Day.
Over and over again?
It's the first day that I watched it today. But then
Oh.
I guess it's kind
You
of
watched
deja
it
vu.
again?
I watched it again. Yeah.
And again.
And again.
And then again.
And again.
So you're
Watch
just
the
gonna
first
tweet
step.
same-
It's a doozy.
just tweet- you should just retweet the same live
I
tweets every
did.
single day.
I did, and it was pretty genius. In my opinion. Where can we find
Nice.
you?
You can find me every goddamn day on Twitter and at Miss Movies. That's where I am.
Yay!
I should probably get off Twitter now. Like, I'm on it right now.
No, you're great at it. Well, thank you
She
for
had a
coming
Twitter
again.
account and unlimited time on her hands.
Hey, listen, guys. Twitter is how
One
I've
tweet
done
could save the
everything.
world.
Twitter is the reason I've been on movie
Twitter
fights. So,
Starring Dwayne The Rock Johnson and Miss Movies.
yes.
And Andy Serkis
Finally.
in motion capture.
Okay.
The baby played by Andy Serkis.
Perfect. Okay, well, that's our show.
Yeah, we'll see
Yep.
you next time.
Yay.
Bye.
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 Bye. Bye.
6 Degrees of Feature Film is produced by Stacey Howard and me. Special thank you to Ken Knapsack for our intro and Matt Brown for our artwork.